Well, September was a slap in the face. Do you know those lyrics? Wake me up when September ends. Yeah, I was basically living that. It wasn't all bad though, just mostly. Let's go. Just before I dive in, if you want to see more kind of behind the scenes snippets of my days, I share a bit of that over on my Insta stories, so go follow me over there. September 1st was day one of no longer being chained to the capsule wardrobe challenge that I did for August, and I celebrated my sartorial freedom by putting on the same skinny jeans that I wore the day before, but with a new t-shirt. So, you know, it was totally new outfit. It felt so good to be free. I was also on a bit of a health kick, so, you know, exercising and eating half decent food. I was like a whole new person, working out, eating apple slices for breakfast, and just basically barely recognizing myself. The biggest thing this week though was that Scout started kindergarten. It was a brand new school year, brand new teacher, brand new school, and it did not faze her one single bit. Nor me. I got loads of messages asking if I was okay and, you know, saying how tough it must be on me. Nope. Scout is in her 3rd year in education now, so it is kind of old news to me. But even for her very first year way back in Ireland, I wasn't too bad. It helps that Scout has always, you know, settled in, so called me cold-hearted, but I knew she'd be fine. If she had been upset, I would have been upset. But she was happy as a clam, so was I, and I got to reclaim some of my independence. Win-win. I turned into a bit of a Pinterest mom, packing, you know, bento-style lunches for her every day, and surprisingly, I've actually managed to keep it up. I mean, I don't leave little notes in there, little doodles or anything, but she's still getting some nutrients. I feel good about that. I asked her for the verdict on her first day when I went to pick her up, and she said, kindergarten is the best. So I think she'll be just fine. I was feeling a little more tired than usual and a lot more unfocused. But I put it down to the fact that August was kind of a mega month, you know, with transatlantic travel and a 2-day event as soon as I got back. And then Scout started school and, you know, the football season kicked off, so Sam's work routine changed. And I was working out more and, you know, suffering from sugar withdrawals from ditching some of the junk food. So yeah, I kind of thought nothing of it, and I tried to just push through. That, as we will see later, was a big mistake. Meanwhile, Sam started doing some work with Sky Sports UK. He would be commentating on their American football coverage every Sunday for the rest of the season, and I am bursting with pride. Doesn't hurt that he's a handsome devil too. Oh, and I signed up for an online diploma in videography because apparently I don't know when to stop. I also went to my first PTA meeting. That was an experience. I did that thing where I sat in the car park for a while, you know, that introvert thing where you try and time your arrival perfectly. I'm doing that thing where I want to get here early enough so that I can find everything and get myself settled, but not so early that people talk to me. I was hoping to maintain a pretty low profile, you know, head down, sit down the back, but they thwarted my efforts by having us sit in groups around small tables. And there were name tags. And it was like I had slipped into the 7th circle of hell. It could only have been worse if Satan himself had popped up and suggested that we all go around and introduce ourselves. Mercifully, I was spared that particular torture. I did leg it as soon as it was over though, but apparently I am a masochist because I will still be going to the next meeting. I don't know, I want to be kept in the loop with what's happening at the school and how they're spending my fees, and to potentially have a say in what goes on. But judging by the reaction of other mothers I've spoken to, this is a decision I may come to regret. As for Scout, she is an independent woman now, because she decided that she wanted to take the bus to school. Some of the other kids on the street go on the bus too, so she wasn't going to be alone. And I managed to recoup some more time in the morning. And I needed it, because... Oh, hello, ton of bricks. I did not see you there until you slammed into me. I've mentioned I'd been feeling a little out of sorts, but it got so much worse. I can't even describe how I felt. Just incredibly run down, incredibly tired, incredibly hormonal, incredibly unmotivated, and that's just not me. I fought it for quite a while, but it eventually caught up with me. It was a really tough decision, but I decided to take some time off. I read a few books, I did some journaling, I took several naps. I basically locked myself away and lolled around, just generally feeling very sorry for myself. My diet went to shit. I had to stop exercising because I barely had the energy to get out of bed and get Scout ready for school. After which I pretty much just went straight back to bed. My Goodreads account was hopping that week though. This month's tiredness was then joined by its friend, Mr. Migraine. Fun and games. I did have some brief moments of normality and respite and hope in the middle of all that. There was, you know, an hour or two where I was able to function like a normal human being. I managed to write a blog post where I talked about kind of being in the winter season of my life. All dark and dreary, but you just had to wait it out. When you think about it, really, I have done so much in the past year or so that it was probably inevitable that I would burn out sooner or later. And the Scout broke her arm. She was outside on the street playing with the other kids when she came off her scooter. She put her hands down to break her fall, but instead broke her elbow. I have never broken a bone. I've never dealt with a broken bone, so it was all uncharted territory for me. And I was completely out of my depth. Luckily though, there are at least 6 doctors and nurses who live on our street. So Scout was actually examined by 3 different medical professionals before we even got to the hospital. An x-ray confirmed the break, and truth be told, I was a bit horrified because up until that point I had been swimming in denial, you know, thinking it was probably just a bad sprain or maybe just a bruised bone or something. And then it got worse because the doctor said it might require surgery. Thankfully, after some back and forth, it was decided that it wasn't displaced enough to require surgery and that a splint would temporarily do the job. So she was bandaged up, and then we bundled her off home with a number to call to arrange for the cast to be put on. Let's just say that Scout handled it a whole lot better than I did. She found it pretty painful for the first maybe 24 hours, but after that just kind of mildly uncomfortable and annoying. Me, I took to the bed. It was a bad end to an overall bad month. I don't do well with not being able to get stuff done. I mean, downtime is fine when you know that it's going to come to an end. But when you're feeling awful and there is no end in sight and you just don't know when you'll be able to drum up a bit of energy again, that's not fun. There is a difference between, you know, choosing downtime, or at least expecting it, and having it forced upon you indefinitely. So yeah, I'm in a bit of a slump right now, no end in sight, but it's a good time to practice that thing that I am terrible at: patience. I've no idea what October will bring, but I suspect it involves more books than blog posts. Bear with me while I get my strength back up. Uploads might be a little sporadic for a while, but regularly scheduled programming will return before you know it. Hopefully. Until then, Cura Mila Mahagwev. Agus feki me shif shikalua. Slán.